next to proposed gun ranges and quarries may feel that their property rights are not being protected. Why do you oppose land use plans and zoning that actually protects private property rights?
Well, I don't oppose zoning. Actually, in fact, that's the problem. The fact that we do not have zoning in certain areas of the county prevents us from being able to regulate what goes in those areas. At our very recent board meetings, we talked about setting public meetings to get some feedback and some input on zoning, because it's going to be a big task, just like the land use plan. It's going to take a lot of work. It's something that is a work in progress. You don't sit down today and decide everything for Chatham County for the next 200 years. It doesn't happen that way. It's a work in progress. Land use maps will change a little bit, ordinances will change a little bit, but without something in place to decide what goes where, right now it's a free-for-all. And to go in and tell someone what they can and can't do when you don't have ordinances in place, you're picking and choosing. It's not our place to do. It's our place to set up the ordinances, and we're in the process of looking at that, getting public input to do that for the entire county. We want to see how the county feels about it, to get some feedback. But it's a work in progress. It's something we're looking at. We realize the need for it now more than ever as these things come up. We've had some other issues, fracking issues. We've had core issues. As things like that start to happen, we see the need for this more than ever. And let's not forget, this is not a new problem. This is something many boards have not addressed.
That tinkling sound you hear is a can being kicked once again. You've had 4 years to establish a land use plan and then zoning. Now, it's not about going in and telling you what to do. It's about asking you, what do you want to preserve, right? What is it you want to preserve in the communities? So the agricultural areas will require zoning to their specifications to preserve agriculture. The industrial zones, we want to have proximate to the highways, away from schools, to keep everything safe. That's a discussion. We ask you, we don't tell you, but that's a process that has to be done. It requires a timetable. We will do this by June of next year. We will do this by November of next year. It's been 4 years. So they've said earlier boards have kicked it down the road. Tink, tink, tink. This is the sound of another board kicking it down the road. I can assure you that if I serve on the board, this will be my #1 priority. But it's going to be incumbent upon you to actually think and be able to come to these meetings and tell us, you know, this is what I want. I want more recreational areas. I want better parks, or I want to have, you know, residential areas growing as they are. But that's going to mean disagreement. You're going to have to be patient and sit through people who disagree with you and maybe you don't even like, but that's how the sausage gets made. This board is averse to public input, and honestly, you can't blame them. We're cantankerous, we Chathamites. But this is what we have to do, and we have to do it now because of Chatham Park, because of the potential of the mega site. 3-5 years from now, we may have somebody moving in there, but in the meantime, we've got to get our ducks in a row. So I'm going to end the game of kick the can, that's for sure.
One other thing, when you have no zoning, there are only 18 counties in this state that are partially or unzoned. We are partially zoned. If you think about fracking as a potential for Lee County and Chatham, there's a huge amount of industrial waste. There are no state permitted waste disposal facilities for the most toxic of the toxic of the toxic. It could be in Chatham if it's unzoned.
Yeah, I'll respond to that. There are big pieces of Chatham County that are unzoned. It's important to know they're unzoned because people came to meetings and people said, don't zone. You know, we do want to go out. And now, as you say, kicking the can down the road, we say that process that many in this room have come to us and said, we want you to be informed. We want you to take input from citizens before you act. Well, that's what we're doing. But we're not doing it all in this room. We're going out to the communities that are affected. The parts of, particularly the western parts of this county, where those folks can't get to this meeting or don't want to come to this meeting. So we're going to them. We're holding town hall meetings. They're telling us what they want. And it is not a universal wish to zone this entire county. And so we've got to balance that. You know, we've got to balance what people whose land is affected. And I think we'll come up with a balance. As to without zoning, we can't have fracking. And Diana, it's not a county issue. The law says we cannot zone against fracking. We take an oath when we take this office. We are an arm of the state government. We have to follow the law. Now, there are some challenges that I think we have. I think we have a constitutional challenge, legal challenge. But until the law says that we can do something, I'm not going to break the law.
Laws are meant to be challenged. That's why you have courts.
Absolutely, you challenge the law, you don't break it.